Hey, what's up YouTube? Aussie Talks Prison here. Guys, today I'm going to be speaking on the effects that prison has had on me, and how I feel about, when people get in my personal space, because I've had people ask me about that, do a video about personal space and that. So, ATP fam, this is going to be about the effects that prison has had on me, and how I feel about getting in my personal space and so forth. All right, now let's get into it. Now, as the ATP fam know, that I spent 18 years of my life in and out of prison. In and out, in and out, in and out. And 12 of those years was spent on heroin. So that took a big effect on me also. But now, what I say about the effects that prison has had on me, I was in Goulburn, vast majority of the 18 years, of my life that I spent in and out of prison. A vast majority of those years was spent in Goulburn, right? Goulburn maximum security prison, which back in the early 90s was called the Killing Fields. You know what I mean? It was called the Killing Fields. And you had to be on your toes there, and it was mandatory, absolutely mandatory for you to carry a shank. It doesn't matter how good you are with these hands, that don't matter, okay? Now, the effects that prison has had on me, now for example, because I was in such a violent prison, in Harvey, from Harvey Talks Prison, he can relate to this because MSP in Missouri, the walls, that Harvey was in, is very similar to what Goulburn is. They're both old jails, built in, way back when, 1800s or whatever. Very, very violent prisons, and every single day, there was always someone getting stabbed. There was always someone getting stabbed, someone getting killed, you know what I mean? Someone getting, like, for example, with the Breville, I've spoken about the Breville's before, which is a toaster sandwich maker, where you put your sandwich in there, like to make a ham and cheese toaster sandwich, right? I've seen people get, smashed with one of them and get their face caved in, their head caved in with the Breville, And when you see violent things like that, ATP fam, when you see violent things like that happening, right, just about every single day, because every single day there's something new going on, okay? Something's always happening. And when you see someone, not only getting smashed and, bashed half to death, you know what I mean, that sticks in your mind, So too, seeing someone getting stabbed to death, you know what I mean, and getting killed right in front of you, you know what I mean? And when you got to step over a dead body, you know what I mean? When you got to step over a dead body and keep it moving, you know what I mean? Don't even look at the body, just step over and keep it moving. That sticks in your mind too, and a lot of people like Harvey and a lot of other guys that have been into some serious prisons, the other thing that really sticks out, and one thing that you will never ever forget when you've seen a lot of violent stuff like that, is the smell of blood. That smell of blood? That smell will stay with you forever. It never goes away, And every time I tell these stories, all these memories come flooding back, even more vividly, and I could really smell the blood. It's like I was back there, it's like I was back in Goulburn. But I've suffered, because of prison, right? I've got bad PTSD. I've got bad PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and bad anxiety. Okay, and I'm used to a structured. I'm used to a structured environment, right? And where and what I mean by that is, ATP fam, right? In prison, there's a structure, okay, and we respect each other. We respect each other. We respect each other's space. You know what I mean? And we don't invade. We don't invade anyone's personal space. Okay, that's their personal space. We respect that. You know what I mean? We respect each other, You know, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? Um, and if you've got a problem with somebody, you know what I mean, you can like go into cell and sort it out. You know, whether that's with knives or hands or whatever. You know, but you sort it out. You know, but you know, I really struggle. You know, I'm very institutionalized. You know, I've been out now. I've been out of prison now for almost 10 years. Next week, it'll be 9 years. Next week, it'll be 9 years that I've been out of prison and that I've been clean from heroin, you know. I'm pretty proud of myself about that because I did it all myself, you know. Um, now, I used to have a lot of nightmares, fam. I used to have a lot of nightmares about the things that I saw in prison, and not only do I, you know, have nightmares about the things that I saw in prison, but also the things I did to people in prison. You know, stabbing people, you know, doing what I had to do in prison. You know, I've had nightmares about that too. They stopped. Them nightmares stopped. Went away for a number of years. Now, since I've been on YouTube, been a YouTuber, and you know, telling all these stories and reliving it again, it started the nightmares. The nightmares have started again, you know. But that's to be expected. You know, I knew that was going to happen, but don't worry, you know. I've got a handle on that. I'm not going to let it, you know, affect me like it used to, you know. But that's some of the things that you know, I struggle with after prison. You know what I mean? And the other thing is like on the outside here, right? I struggle with people disrespecting me. I struggle with people disrespecting me, and I struggle with people getting in my personal space. You know, I do not like it. You know, like for example, you ATP fam seen the other day when I done that live in the park, and you saw how I reacted when people were getting too close to me. Right? It's not that I get nervous, right? But I get anxious. I get very anxious, and like and I've become and like it's sort of like when someone is too close to you, right? And you can more or less, you know, reach out and touch them. You know, they're in my personal space. They're invading my privacy. They're invading my privacy, and that says to me because they're so close, they can see what I'm doing. They can see that I'm doing something. This is my personal space, but they still get into my personal space, invade my personal privacy, and they can and they still continue to disrespect you. You know what I mean? And then when you react and you try to do something about it, the first thing they do is jump on the phone and call the cops. You know what I mean? I'm not used to that. I'm used to, you know, when someone disrespects me, I'll be like, oh, you want to disrespect me, huh? You want to treat me like a punk. You know what I mean? I feel like someone's punking me down when someone gets in my personal space, and at first I politely ask them to get out of my personal space. You know what I mean? I'll turn around and say something like, "Excuse me, you're far too close to me." You know what I mean? Can you please get out of my personal space? And when that doesn't work, then I turn around and react like I did on that live. You know, when I turn around and say, these people get the fuck out of my personal space. They're in my fucking personal space. You got to show some fucking respect. You know, and that I'm used to handling it with violence. You know, when that happened in prison, you know, I used to say to them, right, motherfucker, in me fucking cell, right? And then we get the shanks out and start fucking stabbing each other. You know, but I know that I can't do that out here because that will put me back into prison, you know. And people don't seem to realise, right? I don't know if they don't realise or if they just don't care, you know. They know, right? They know that, you know, I'm feeling uncomfortable because I feel really uncomfortable. That's the word I was looking for. I feel really uncomfortable when someone's in my, you know, too close to me. You know what I mean? And it happens like even with people that I know, fam, ATP fam, with people that I know, I still feel uncomfortable when they get too close to me. I'm not used to it. I don't like people getting too close to me, and I especially don't like people touching me. You know what I mean? Because the reason why that is, fam, because what happened to me when I was 6 years old, that's in my mind. You know, and every time someone touches me, you know, I don't know if they've got a fucking ulterior motive or what the hell they're thinking. I just don't want people touching me. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I feel really uncomfortable, uneasy. you know. And you see, and this is what, like, I try to educate people. I try to tell them, I say, look, I'm institutionalized. You know what I mean? I've spent like almost 20 years of my life in and out of the most violent prison in Australia. You know what I mean? And you can't keep on fucking disrespecting me, treat me like a punk, get in my personal space, and expect me to be alright with it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't like that I'm too straightforward and that I tell it as it is. I don't beat around the bush. You know, if you do something to me that I don't like, I'll tell you. I'll let you know. And if you've got a problem with it, well, then, what I say, bust a move. You know what I mean? Bust a move and see what happens. And you see, and the other thing I've noticed on the outside here, fam, people tend to judge a book by its cover, right? Now, what I mean by that, because I look young, right? Especially now that I've had my hair cut, you know what I mean? When I had long hair and like I had a longer beard, you know what I mean? That never used to happen so much, you know what I mean? People fucking steer clear of me, you know what I mean? But because now I've got my hair cut and I look younger and shit, you know what I mean? They tend to judge a book by its cover and think that I'm just this young guy who knows nothing, who hasn't been nowhere in his life. You know what I mean? And you can't do that because that's how fucking people get hurt and people get killed. You know. Um, and I try to tell them, like, I try to tell these people, look, this, all I ask is show me respect. Show me respect. You know what I mean? Don't get in my personal space, because I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable. They know it makes me feel uncomfortable and they still do it. This is the effects of prison, and this is what prison can do to you. Prison can fuck with your head mentally, you know what I mean? And you ask anybody that's done a lot of prison time, nobody ever gets out of prison the same as what they did before they went in there. You know what I mean? Because when you're in prison, right, especially a maximum security prison that was like a fucking war zone, it was called the Killing Fields, that Goulburn was, right? It's just mandatory, right? It's absolutely mandatory for every single person that comes, onto that compound. You know what I mean? As soon as you get on that compound, like you handle things as a man. You're a man and you handle things as a man. You know what I mean? And see, I try to tell people, I say, look, you know, because I was in a certain environment for a number of years, and a lot of things that I've seen, and a lot of things that I've done, that can fuck with your mind, and anybody that's been into a prison like that and seen violent things, people that have seen violent things, like I was explaining before, people getting bashed half to death, people getting killed, even people getting raped. You know what I mean? I've seen guys get raped, in the showers. But, you know what I mean? You just got to turn a blind eye to that. It's got nothing to do with you. It's not your problem. Keep it fucking moving. You know what I mean? Even when the guy's screaming out to you for help, it's got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Just fucking keep it moving. Yeah, it's fucked up. It shouldn't happen. But it's nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? And that sort of shit can fuck with a man's head. Doesn't matter how tough that man is, or how hard that man is, or if he's one of those guys that doesn't let anything affect him, nothing affects him. But trust me, being in a place like that, it will affect you and change your mind. Not so much as you go crazy, you know, but it affects your mind mentally. Where you start suffering from nightmares, depression, anxiety, PTSD. You know what I mean? It just goes with the territory. It goes with the territory. That's what happens. And you see, I've had to stop myself many a times, when I've been out and about, and someone bumps into you and they don't say nothing. You know what I mean? See, this is what I mean about me being institutionalized. Because in prison, when someone bumps into you, or for example, when I used to bump into someone accidentally, I turn around and say to that dude, my bad, excuse me, bro. And that's showing respect. That's showing respect. And the dude turns around and says, no worries, brother. You know what I mean? And then you keep it moving. But people on the outside, they bump into you. They don't say shit. They bump into you, and then they keep it moving, or when you're walking down the street, they fucking cut you off. You know what I mean? They cut you off and they know they've cut you off, and they don't say my bad or sorry or fucking something because they're such arrogant pricks. You know what I mean? Or, just like disrespectful things like that. And you see, and the first thing I think to myself, oh, they're trying to punk me. They're trying to punk me down. You know what I mean? That's what I start thinking to myself. And then I've got to remind myself where I am. No, you're on the outside now. You're free. You know what I mean? You can't be like that anymore. You can't think like that. You know what I mean? And I've just got to say to myself and remind myself, look, don't worry about these fucking idiots. You're better than them. You know what I mean? You're better than them. Just keep it moving. Fuck them. And I'll keep it moving. I'll just keep on doing what I'm going to do. That's just, I've got to, otherwise I'll get myself into trouble. And you see, and the other thing that I've learned to deal with, you see, because I'm used to dealing with things with violence. You know what I mean? If I feel someone's disrespecting me or trying to punk me down, you know what I mean, getting in my personal space or whatever, I'm used to dealing with things with violence. But this is what I'm trying to say to people, no, you can't be like that. You know what I mean? You cannot handle everything with violence. No matter what happens, you can't think to yourself, well, I'm going to go and stab this guy up. You can't do that. You know what I mean? It's wrong. You can't do that. What you've got to try and do, is to try and explain to that people, because some do it on purpose and some don't even know they're doing it or don't realise they're doing it. So you just got to explain to them. Say, look, for example, you can turn around and say to them something like this. Oh, excuse me, you bumped into me. You bumped into me and you didn't apologise or nothing. You know what I mean? Or turn around and say to them, oh, excuse me, you just bumped into me and you didn't apologise. And most of the time, they'll turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, because a lot of people are so entrenched in their phone. They're so entrenched in their phone and they're fucking around on their phone. They're not paying attention to where they're going. You know what I mean? And they bump into people. And most of the time when they realise they will apologise. But there are some, they do it on fucking purpose, because they're smart asses, But one thing that I've learned here on the outside, since I've been out, next week it'll be 9 years, like I said, but I've just got to remind myself, I just got to remind myself that, like, for example, I'm walking down the street, okay? I'm walking down the street and say there's like a couple of people, come towards me, okay? So you know what I'll do? I'll walk around. I'll walk around them, and so they're not in my personal space, and they can't bump into me, and avoids any problems, And the other thing that people said to me, quite a bit, why do you keep on walking with your head down? You always walk with your head down, you've never got your head up. And I said, look, I've always been walking with my head down because I don't want to see anything that I'm not supposed to see, and I keep my head down because I mind my own business. I keep my head down and keep my eyes down because I'm minding my own business, and I'm keeping it moving, And they're going, yeah, but you're not in prison now. You used to do that in prison, walk with your eyes down and your ears open. You know what I mean? And I said, well, look, I'm institutionalized. I can't help it. And people will think that I'm sad when they see me walking with my head down. They think that I'm sad, or I'm depressed or something. I'm not. I'm complete opposite. I'm happy and I'm okay. Like, my health is fucked, but that's what it is. It is what it is. But I've been walking with my head down for so many years. It's just a natural thing to me. I don't even think about it. I just do it. You know what I mean? But that's why I say to people, and I urge people all the time, make smart choices. At the end of the day, it's up to us as an adult. You know what I mean? To take responsibility for our own actions. Stop blaming other people for the things that we've done. You know what I mean? It's no one else's fault except us. You know what I mean? And you just got to make smart choices. Take responsibility for your actions. Stop making excuses. You know what I mean? And everyone out there, and especially the youngsters, don't think that using drugs and doing crime, going to prison, in and out of prison, don't think that makes you cool or a badass. It doesn't, right? I tell you what that makes you. It makes you a fool. The reason why I say it makes you a fool is because prison is a fucking horrible place. It's depressing, dirty, filthy, fucking violent place. It's somewhere you don't want to be. Trust me. And being in the mix in the streets and using drugs, that can be a very short life. You know what I mean? You can lose your life in an instant, just like that. Anything can happen. And a prime example of that, like when I got stabbed in the head, nearly lost my life there. I've been stabbed, I've been shot, I nearly lost my life. I've OD'd, I OD'd 5 times, you know what I mean? Your life can end just like that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what makes you cool, kids? And does make you look cool and make you like have people look up to you and respect you, that's staying in school, getting a good education, right? And then leave school, get a good job, set yourself up, you know what I mean? Set yourself up, meet a nice woman, get married, have a family, have some kids, get a nice home, a nice car, you know what I mean? That's what makes you cool. That's what makes people look up to you and respect you, for the great things that you're doing. Nobody respects somebody that's out there using drugs and going to prison. Nobody respects that, So stay away from that. Stay away from drugs, right? Stay away from prison, even smoking cigarettes, because that's how it starts. Like kids start smoking cigarettes like I did. You know what I mean? When I was 4 years old, I started smoking cigarettes. Yeah, at 4 years old, and then by 6 years old, I was smoking weed, and that's how it goes. Don't even if someone offers you, all you kids out there, if any kids out there watching this, if somebody asks you for a cigarette, if someone offers you a cigarette, say no. Say no, you don't want the cigarette, and walk away. Leave that person, because that person is not your friend, and that person is not looking out for you. And if that person was your friend or looking out for you, they wouldn't offer you a cigarette. You know what I mean? And also remember that in the street life, when you're in the mix and using drugs, you get a lot of people saying that they're your friend, they're going to look out for you. No, it's complete opposite. You know what I mean? They couldn't care less what happens to you. You know what I mean? When you get arrested, you do something wrong, you get arrested, you go to prison. Where are they? Are they putting money on your books? They're putting money on your books and taking care of you, coming to visit you? No. They're back out there on the streets doing their thing. They don't care about you. You know what I mean? They're not your friend. You know what a real friend is? A real friend is somebody that looks out for his or her friend, okay, and doesn't offer drugs or cigarettes or anything like that. You know what I mean? Good friends are there for their friends. True, loyal friends, okay, will always look out for your best interests. You know what I mean? And they would never ever steer you down a dark path. You know what I mean? So stay away from them people. Just make smart choices. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Okay? Just make smart choices. And if anyone out there's got any messages, that you want to shoot to me, any questions, just shoot a comment down below and I'll answer it. Got any suggestions? You know what I mean? Just shoot a comment down below and I'll always reply to the comments. And so once again, I just wanted to say thank you to all the ATP fam for coming over, resubscribing to this channel. It means a lot. I love you guys very much. I always carry you guys right here in my heart. You know what I mean? You guys mean the world to me. I love you guys. You're fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And I've met some wonderful people on YouTube. Some new lifelong friends. You know, so that's all I got for today, fam. I just want to upload this video. Get this story out there, because this will be the first video on the new channel, and I'm working on more videos to come soon. Okay. All right, fam. Take care. Stay safe. Remember, make smart choices, okay? And also remember, I love every single one of you guys. I salute every single one of the ATP fam. Here we are a family, and we look out for each other here, okay? And we always keep it positive. We always keep it positive here, and we're not about the bullshit here, okay? And we look out for each other. Alright, fam. Take care. Be safe. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Bye for now, fam. Peace.